What numbers do we like to see under there? Perfect squares. That's a good answer. That's exactly, and the discussion's going to lead towards perfect squares in a second. But I just wanted to give you a sense of what we're talking about when we're talking about radicals. Here's a number line. All right, and we know pretty well where these things stand as far as 1, 2, 3, and 4. But in the world of radicals and equivalent radicals, the square root of 1 we know to be 1. What's the square? What's 2 squared? What am I looking for up here in radicals that's going to give me the square root of, when I take the square, it's going to give me 2. What number? If the square root of 1 is 1, the square root of what is 2? What number that you take the square root of is going to give me? 4. Okay? Thank you. So along those same lines, what's the perfect square that goes here in association with 3? What's the number that goes above that? 9. And then for 4, we've got 16. Now we're going to talk about that more. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what these were used for, because it wasn't all that long ago that radicals were used pretty extensively. If this is the square root of 1 and this is the square root of 4, does everybody kind of see how the square root of 2 and the square root of 3 would land in between there? Okay? And I can kind of see that the square root of 2 lands here, the square root of 3 lands here. I happen to know the square root of 2 is something like 1.4. All right, you have a calculator. If you plug in the square root of 2, it tells you 1.417. We'll just call it 1.4. How about the square root of 3? If you just, without even using a calculator, if you saw that this was 1, the square root of 2 was 1.4, and the square root of 4 is 2, what number might fit neatly in between 1.4 and 2 that would line up with the square root of 3? Maybe like 1.7? Are we okay with that? And if you plug the square root of 3 into your calculator, it says 1.732 something something, right? What have you guys had in your hands the entire time that this class started? A calculator, okay? But believe it or not, calculators didn't exist before 1975, or at least handheld ones that a student could bring